MSU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MSU.
Tim Clifton, we journeyed over the mountain on Saturday evening, the invitation from East Tennessee State, and based upon what I saw Saturday night, they may not be rolling out the red carpet for us again. They may just go with some of that ugly orange shag the next time we come over the ridge. That was a good outing for the Mountain Lions. We came up a little bit short, but my goodness, an impressive performance.
Well, I thought we played extremely hard. I thought our kids came out and just played about as hard as they could play, and I thought we had a good game plan, and we kept them off balance there for a while. And you know, I think if we'd had the score that was called back in the second quarter, I think with a 14-point lead, I think we could have went into halftime with that, because we'd have played the first half a little different toward the end and let the clock run out. And but I thought our kids played hard, and I thought we had a good game plan. And I think we hurt ourselves some a little bit, but you know, that happens in the first game. And we had a fumble snap on a punt and gave them 6 points off of that. But we had a couple of plays where we executed, got down, but we had a couple of penalties there also. So if we clean those penalties up and play that hard again and work on our execution and clean up the kicking game, I think we have a chance to be a real good football team.
Well, I think you have to be pleased with the effort overall by the Mountain Lions, playing up a division, season opener for East Tennessee State, new head coach Randy Sanders, and I was actually over at Johnson City earlier today, just looking at some of the print media there, and some of the lead stories were about it was tougher than they had planned. So that's a good testament to you and to the program here at Mars Hill.
Yeah, I think our goal was to go into the game, as I told you on Saturday, was going into the game and keep it close in the fourth quarter. Anytime you play up, you got to be in it in the fourth to give yourself a chance to win. And it was 14-7 in the fourth quarter. So we were sitting in a spot we wanted to be sitting in at the time. And you know, we had some guys that cramped up and some positions, but they played a lot of plays, you know, and we didn't have the depth that they had in the fourth quarter. But you know, I just thought our guys, you know, I told them again on Sunday, I was just proud of their effort and the way they played.
We'll take a break, come back, break it down quarter by quarter. Stuart Jolley and Tim Clifton along with you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Over the weekend, Mars Hill, East Tennessee State, a 28-7 victory by the Buccaneers over the Mountain Lions. But first half, Tim Clifton, Mountain Lions really came out on fire that first quarter. Buccaneers missed a 44-yard field goal. Their kicker going after some records, and well, he got off to a shaky start for them, put us in good shape. We marched it down the field, go 73 yards, 11 plays to score a touchdown. Good start for the Mountain Lions.
I thought we did a great job of mixing the run and pass, and we were able to get a bootleg and hit the freshman tight end for Kennell Johnson to pick up a first down, and then we were able to get the ball to Rucker out on the perimeter on the bubble, and Harbison did a great job of blocking the corner, and Rucker made a couple of cuts and got in the end zones, and it was an excellent throw by Austin too. He led him right up the field, and he was able to make a couple of cuts, and when he got in, I think that sparked our momentum, and we were able to play off of that, you know, through the first quarter.
And as you said, Austin Brown really kind of settled in early on. We talked about that in the pregame. It's going to be interesting to see how getting the official nod as the starting QB, how that plays out. It's tough to be the starter, you know, the first time at home, but then you add into that environment, and I think you have to be pleased. He didn't look shaky at all. He's coming out of the starting gate.
Yeah, he did a great job of checking. He did a great job of looking the defense over and seeing what we could take, what we could get in a run and pass game, and he executed. I thought he executed extremely well, and you know, he was able to, when they blitzed, he knew where to go with the ball, and I thought he played it extremely well, and I'm really proud of him. And he, you know, nobody works any harder in our program than Austin Brown. He works as hard as anybody that's ever played here, you know, and for a skilled guy, he's just an extremely hard worker, you know, for anybody. But you'll see two guys here in just a little bit that play here. Both those guys, you know, Jake and Travion, they work extremely hard in our program too. But Austin Brown is he's a workaholic. He worked all summer, not only just throwing the football, but he looked at film all summer, and he worked on his checks, and he studies the game, and I was really happy the way he performed. Good
first quarter for the Mountain Lions. They're up 7-0. Roll into the second quarter, less than a minute into that, their kicker comes out, said he's trying to set some records for East Tennessee State. He goes in, he's now 0 for 2. He misses that second field goal, leaves us in good shape for a first drive. We come down, have a pretty good momentum going. We're forced to punt it away, and there Quan Harrison botches the fair catch. Chris Ferdinand, we talked about Chris, back healthy with us this year. He's able to come in and recover that. Talk about a little bit how that momentum swing. They thought they had a chance. They just, or I think first game jitters for them. Chris comes in, takes advantage of it. Lions have the ball back.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job of covering, and really Chris passed him, so if the ball wasn't caught, he could be behind it, and then he just, I think he lost a little bit of concentration. We had a lot of guys around him, and the ball popped out, and we were there, and we had enough people there that everybody was in on it, you know. And, but it was, I thought it was a great job by our coverage team that set up the fumble.
So the Mountain Lions able to take over at that point in time, but then we cough it up.
First play.
It's kind of like, okay, they had the momentum. They do a simple miscue there. We have the momentum, and then again another miscue.
Yeah, and we just didn't execute as well as we wanted to on the play, and the ball hit the ground, and they recovered it, and now you're back at it again on defense, and but you know, you go through highs and lows. And what you try to teach them is there's going to be adversity, and anytime there's turnovers on either side, you got to figure out how you're going to handle it. And you know, we get a turnover like that, we've got to make sure we capitalize and go down and score because you got good field position. And but I thought our defense came back out and responded and played well after that situation.
Well, State gets the ball back. They try to march it down the field. Their QB coming in from Temple. He connects on a 17-yarder. They think they're in good shape. And then, well, Jaden King gets involved. Trey gets involved. Different story for the Mountain Lions. They're again stepping up defensively on the play.
Yeah, I thought it was a great job of tackling. And, you know, we were able to come up with a turnover, and but again, it's just guys playing hard and guys hustling.
And State's able to step up their defense a little bit to that point in time, stop any scoring attempt by us. They get it back for a very short series, and let's talk a little bit about that. Coming in, less than 3 minutes to go. State's still down. It's still 7-0 Mars Hill. But then finally, ETSU gets their offense rolling.
Yeah, and you know, we marched down and went for it, and I think again, if we had the touchdown where it would have put us at 14, we would have milked the clock and let the clock run out. But I thought we had an opportunity to score. We were down there, and I thought we had really the momentum to get 7 more and to go into halftime at 14. And but you know, they made a great play at the end of the half and made the throw. But then our defense stepped up again and made a couple of stops and then they got one right before half.
They finally get on the board. State scores 1:14 remaining in the half, and then both teams go in tied up at 7. We'll come back and talk about that second half right after this. 7-7 ball game at the half at William B. Green Stadium. It's a capacity crowd, and by now, well, the Lion people are like, this is pretty darn good. I'm sure hopefully the paint in the locker room at East Tennessee State was on fairly solid, because I'm sure that got lit up a little bit there as Mountain Lions hung tough, Tim. And we roll into the third quarter. Fumble time again for the Buccaneers. We create that one more time. Earl Adams gets the ball on the 31-yard line. Now it's Mars Hill offensive time again. Let's talk about that.
Well, I thought Tyler Sims did a great job of getting to the QB, and the ball popped out, and Earl was on top of it and gave us really good field position. And you know, once you get it there, you got to give yourself an opportunity. And we did some good things there. We just didn't get the ball in the end zones where we needed to put it at that time. But the one thing about it is, if you get turnovers and your offense is not turning it over, you're always in a ball game, especially when against somebody that's you know, it's one AA, basically it's one above you.
So going, Mars Hill turns it over on downs. The Bucs come back. They come down and score, making a 14-7 game. Goes 9 plays, 90-yard drive against our defense. 14-7 Bucs, but still we're hanging close.
Yeah, and going into the fourth quarter, we're going to get to the fourth quarter, and we're real close, you know. And I thought our defense played extremely hard and was playing well, you know, got several turnovers like we talked about. But I also think we broke up some pass plays. We stopped the run, and I just thought our defense just kept stepping up each time. And you know, and on a night like that, it wasn't hot, but it was pretty humid. And what you're trying to do against people like that is give your defense a chance to rest too. But and then we had 1 or 2 go down with cramps, and we had 2 on offense go down with cramps, both the receivers, and then we had a defensive lineman go down with cramps. And when that happens, you know, now you just got guys that are really tired, and guys are getting a lot of reps, and you don't have the depth that they have to switch guys in and out. And I thought we started getting tired there toward the end of the third quarter, because we'd put out so much energy to be in that game.
Momentum still hanging tough with the Lions, but you said, and we talked about that pregame. That at some point, if the game held close, one of the factors that would be just so huge in their camp was they had depth we simply do not have because of the size of the program.
That's right. We don't have the depth they have, and they were able to alternate guys. And you know, if I'm a defensive lineman or a linebacker, and I've faced 2 different offensive guards during the course of the game, well, they got a chance to stay fresh. If that offensive line can flip out and get a break, then they got a chance to come back in the fourth quarter and they're fresh. And that's what depth does for you. And when you can alternate guys in and out, and you can be a great player, but if you get tired toward the end of the game and they've alternated, now their starter's fresh, and you've gone against 2 different guys the whole game, it'll wear you down. And we just, as the fourth quarter began, we needed something good to happen, because you knew it was going to be a time where you're sort of about to run out of gas, and people go, well, you can do better, you can get them in shape. You can only get them in shape, and sooner or later you're still going to run out if you're playing every play. And but I thought our guys just hung in there and kept fighting.
I was talking to someone, they said, what's the big difference when you play up a level like that? I said, well, our number 1s, their number 1s, we match up. Number 2's number 2, we're pretty darn close. Their number 3, well, we don't have number 3, do you?
Yeah, we can't get there with any kind of guy, with guys that have played. and with guys that have been in the program. They can get to you with some 2s and 3s that have been in the program 4 years. And you know, when we went into that game, I knew going in they were mainly fifth year guys and 4th year guys. They redshirted everybody the first year they didn't play, so they had a lot of 5th year guys and a lot of 4th year guys, and then they had some transfers. They had 2 from Temple, so they have done a good job of building that program. Up, and but I thought we did a great job of keeping the crowd out of it. And
we did.
The crowd didn't get back in it till toward the end of the 4th quarter.
And 4th quarter, Mars Hill were pinned deep. We're back on the 10-yard line, and well, things didn't go the way we wanted it to go with Michael Johnson punting it away.
Yeah, we did. We dropped the snap, and they were coming, and so. You know, you can't make a mistake. They got it. You know, again, they can put people on special teams that are fresh and can come after it. And we didn't do a good job there. But you know, we got a freshman snapper, a freshman punter. You know, we even have a freshman holder. You know, so the kicking game has some young guys.
And it's going to get better for us because that improves game to game.
That's right, and that's what always scares you in the first game, and that's what always scares you. When you play somebody of this caliber, they can put people on special teams that are fresh. I mean, we're asking our guys, a lot of our 1s and 2s, to be on special teams, and you know, they can put some other guys out there that are fresher and can come. But we didn't execute the way we wanted there, and that gave them. I think that was the momentum that they needed to put us in a spot where we couldn't come back.
They take that 21-7 lead. It didn't take them long into the 4th quarter. That came at the 14:02 mark in the 4th quarter. We're forced into, I guess, at least it looked from my perspective, and maybe we were some uncomfortable situations that force us to do some things that, had we had more time, we would have been able to utilize that time and not had to push the issue so much. But even there in the 4th quarter, as we're beginning to tire out, and that depth of East Tennessee State is making a difference, we're still able to hold state for a few times before they're able to capitalize for one more score.
That's right. You know, I think offensively now you got to get a little bit out of what you wanted to do. We wanted to control the football, mixing the pass and the run, and now you've got to get into a point where you're trying to get a quick score, you know. And
we pushed it all the way down to 17.
Oh yeah, and then we hit a pass and got it down near the goal line, right there at the goal line, and got a penalty. You know, we were able to sprint away and hit Tyson Nelson, and he got down to right there at the goal line, and I thought, well, okay, we put this in, onside kick, we right back in this thing. But we alignment-wise, we were called, and so I think that was a chance that we gave away for a score, you know. But I thought our kids were still battling at that time.
They were. At that point, it's 21-7, and State's able to march it down the field 83 yards. For the final score in the contest, 28-7 Buccaneers over Mars Hill. Statistically, Brown, he went 17 of 25, 143 yards and 1 touchdown. Rucker caught 10 passes, 136 yards, that 1 touchdown reception. Malcolm Means, Chris Ferdinand, each 7 tackles apiece for the Mountain Lions. Tyler Sims, Trey Smith, 2 sacks each. Had to be proud of those efforts.
Yeah, I thought they played well, and yeah, I thought our defense really lined up and played hard. I think that's when you play somebody like this, you've got to play extremely hard, and we did. And you know, I think 1 or 2 plays here or there, it would have been a completely different story.
Well, I think you have to be pleased. It certainly, I know we were from up top. It was a good first outing. You like to come out on top, but my goodness. Come away. I don't think we had anybody really make any deductibles, as I like to say, in the first game. So that's huge. We talked about that. Keep everybody reasonably healthy as we roll into the 2nd week of play.
That's right. And you know, once you play these guys, you want to get some game speed, which they're gonna give you game speed that you know, won't be many people that would play that'll have that kind of game speed. But the quarterback, I thought he was tremendously accurate, and he had a great arm.
Once he settled in, he was dangerous.
Once he got in it, it was. Now we kept him off balance for a while, but you know, I just think our guys really we weren't intimidated. We weren't, you know, we didn't back down. We just kept plugging out.
You heard us talk about it. Now we're going to have some highlights from this week's game up against East Tennessee State Buccaneers. Here we go. Welcome back. Glad to have you with us here. Jake Sells wandered in. Jake, glad to have you with us. Senior for the Mountain Lions from just over the ridge in Greenville, Tennessee. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been here. This is my 5th year here. I'm a PE major with a concentration in teacher ed. So I'll be doing student teaching in the spring semester. So I've been here a long time. They've moved me from left tackle to right tackle, left guard to center, so I've been around the block.
You ended up in the middle.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
That's right.
That's all right. You played for Greenville High School. Great program over there, year in and year out. Always competitive. And you come into the South Atlantic, which is one of the great Division II conferences. You're used to that competition, though, aren't you? Coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, over at Greenville, they put us to work over there for sure, and then always competing, and then playing in games like ETSU, and I get excited about playing in those when we play up, so I enjoy those a lot for sure.
Makes a difference. Now, just so you know, Jake's, one, great guy. Two, let me read this so I get it right. 2017 Academic All-District Super Region 2. That's from the College Sports Information Directors of America. That's pretty good stuff. You're top tier there. 3.41 GPA.
Yes, sir.
Gonna become a teacher. Continue to make a difference in young people's lives.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk a little bit. You don't just choose to go into something like that unless, of course, you've had people that have impacted you, coaches and different folks. Let's talk a little bit about that.
For sure, my biggest influence was Andy McCall. He played here as well, and all the coaches over there they're like family for sure. They're like role models for sure, and I watched how they operated and how they treat all of us players, and that really encouraged me to become a teacher and a coach. So that was my main.
Well, it makes a difference. I did that gig as an administrator and a teacher for 32 years. Yeah. So hats off to you in advance. I'm glad you are choosing to make that decision and journey forward. Tell us a little bit. You were talking about different positions you've been in here for the Mountain Lions over the years. Tell us a little bit how that's worked out in terms of different skill positions.
Well, most people don't know. I came in as a defensive lineman, and then I redshirted my freshman year, played scout offensive line, and then they moved me to O-line because we were shorthanded. So went from left tackle, learned the plays with Coach Beatty. Coach Beatty helped a lot, and he pushed me a lot to become better, and really got me to learn the offense really well. And now I'm at this point, I know it like the back of my hand. So
that's good. That benefits you, and it certainly benefits us.
Yeah.
Looking ahead this year for the Mountain Lions, we didn't have things go the way we wanted them last year, though we were in the thick of things. It just didn't work out the well as we would like it to. Trying to improve on last year's season. From a player's perspective, what do you see for the Mountain Lions this year?
It's definitely, I feel like this team, we're definitely closer as a unit, and there's not a lot of complaining going on. Everyone's just focused, and we're ready to get after it. And Saturday really showed that we work hard, and we're really excited about being able to play, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited about it.
Well, growing up there in East Tennessee, of course, you hear all the time about the Volunteers, and you watched East Tennessee State kind of rebuild that program, start from scratch with Carl Torbush coming in as coach. Did you ever think that, hey, you're going to be on a Mountain Lion squad that goes over the ridge and plays up a division against East Tennessee?
They had some talk about it the past few years that we would play them, and I was waiting on the time, and then this year I finally got to do it, and playing back at home in front of friends and family again, gosh, it was one of the best games I've played in.
Well, and you probably had some of those folks that say, oh, little old Mars Hill, they're going to come over there. Jake Wheat, you're going to have a bad evening there. It's just going to be real bad playing East Tennessee. And you know, we came up a little bit short, but it was not a bad evening necessarily in terms of surprising some people.
Yeah.
So have you heard from some folks back home saying, what do you mean coming over here and giving us a ball game? You know,
one of my friends that goes to school over there, she texted me and said, "Good luck, but not too much." But you know, I seen her after the game and I said, "We almost had you. We almost did." But you know, gosh, I love playing up because you're always the underdog in those games. But coming out like that really shocks everybody, and gosh, it gives us a rally and energizes us for sure.
It does. It's something to build on moving forward this season. Being about an hour and a half away, you get a lot of family and friends that make it over for the home games.
Yeah. Mom's here every weekend for sure.
That's always good when Mom's in the stands.
Yeah, and then she brings all her friends, and then my friends come up too every now and then. So
that's great. That's what you know. That's one of the good things about particularly Division II is we tend to have folks a little bit closer in sometimes that family can see them, and that's a good thing for us to build on.
Yeah, for sure.
Glad you're here. Best of luck to you, and as you work your way into student teaching.
Thank you, sir.
That was always an interesting experience. Came in day one, thought I was going to observe for the week. They said, "Here, teach this lesson." Hopefully they don't do that to you.
No, hopefully not. So I'm excited about it for sure.
You should be. Good luck, my friend.
Thanks,
we'll
sir.
be back. We'll talk more Mountain Lion football right after this.
Mars Hill University, helping you move your mountain.
Mars Hill University gives me plenty of degrees to choose from.
At MHU, I get the attention I deserve.
MHU keeps me close to home, and there's tons to do in the mountains.
Over 60 courses of study, small class settings, a breathtaking campus. These are just a few examples of how MHU can help you start moving your mountain. Visit us today at mhu.edu. Mars Hill University, education that moves mountains.
Continuing some of our Mountain Lion football features with some of the key parts of the Mountain Lion football puzzle for the 2018 season. Trey Smith, glad to have you joining us. Tell everybody a little bit about the man that tends to run and tackle lots of people.
Yeah, I'm from Merritt Island, Florida. Born and raised. Moved around a lot in Brevard County. Criminal justice major, business administration minor. I've been playing football since I was probably about 4 years old. Yeah, I love football. That's what I do.
I know probably one of the questions folks wonder about, how does a young man from Merritt Island, Florida end up in the mountains of western North Carolina?
You know, everything happens for a reason. You know, I mean, I had some academic troubles when I was in high school, and you know, it led me here, which was probably the best decision.
Well, we're glad that you joined with us. You were certainly last year a bright spot for the Lion defense. 62 stops last year, 8 tackles for loss. You were kind of picking up where you left off too this year, because a good outing Saturday evening over there at Green Stadium, taking on the Buccaneers, 4 tackles, 1 sack. Impressive beginning. Like I said, picking as a senior, you expect that leadership from folks like you, and that's what we're getting.
Yes, sir. I mean, well, of course, I always expect to do better, and there's always room for improvement. But yes, I mean, I guess for playing up a division, I guess we did okay.
Going into a season like this, and none of us were necessarily pleased with win-loss last year, wanting to improve on that this season. And you were part of that last year. What, as a team and as a player, what are some of those focuses you guys focus on that say, hey, this is the little thing we're going to work on, going to make that difference? Because we were in the thick of things throughout those games last year, with very few exceptions. But what are those keys that you got and the coaching staffs are working on this season?
First off, we have to stay together, and we try to keep negativity out of everything, like Coach says. We try to keep vampires off the team, because vampires always lead you down a bad road. So yeah, this year we're trying to work on finishing. Finishing is a big part of what we need to do.
Closing the deal, so to speak. Well, the Bucks are glad we didn't. You know, we got close. We got real close, and they're like, "Well, I'm glad they didn't finish closing the deal."
Yes, sir.
But as a senior, with new folks, whether they're transfer or whether or not they're freshmen. How do you feel is your role?
My role, I feel like I need to get them dialed in as quick as possible, you know, make them feel comfortable. Because the more comfortable everyone feels together, the better we'll play together. And that all leads up to team chemistry.
And it makes a difference.
Yes, sir.
Come Saturday afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Criminal justice major. What are your plans for that on down the road?
I might want to enter either corrections or maybe looking into probation.
Good deal. Both good solid fields to go in. And you said with the minors in business.
Yes, sir.
So that gives you all sorts of flexibility in terms of, if that doesn't work out here, I can always do this. Looking ahead, Shaw's coming in this Saturday, and then already we're in the thick of things with this Atlantic Conference action. What rumblings are you all hearing in terms of how the Mountain Lions are going to do this year in the South Atlantic?
We don't really pay attention to all the rumbling. All
that's good. I was hoping that's what you were going to say.
We just do our thing. We get on the field. We practice hard every day in our playbooks, and we just learn to get better. That's the only thing we can do.
It makes a difference. It really does.
Yes, sir.
We'll appreciate you stopping by. Have a good rest of the week. Glad you and the rest of the crew stay healthy over at State. And if you are the opposition and you hear someone gaining on you, good likelihood it may be this man right here. We'll be back with more action right after this.
I just did not have a lot of stability.
I was facing foreclosure.
Not working at all, didn't have any money.
I could not go to school and work, so I found Mars Hill.
The experience here has been so wonderful.
It's been amazing.
I was able to have the full-time hours without the full-time load.
They are just incredibly supportive.
And Mars Hill is very affordable.
Mars Hill University Adult and Graduate Studies. Education that moves mountains.
I will be the first in my family to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Welcome back. Stuart Jolley along with Tim Clifton. Tim, Mountain Lions come home. Friendly confines of the Ammons Family Athletic Center, Mir Stadium here, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon against the Bears of Shaw University. Looking here, they had a 38-10 loss at Hampton. So they were 3-7 last year as a squad, CIAA team. A lot of talent, a lot of speed. You barely had time to break down game film in terms of prepping for them because you guys got back late Saturday night, try to go through some basic things yesterday and then hit it hot and heavy this week. What do we know about the Bears in terms of what the fans should expect here Saturday afternoon?
Well, I think you're right. They'll have a lot of team speed. They played up against Hampton also, so they went and played a 1AA just like we did. And Hampton's always a good football team and always has tradition, you know, and the MEAC conference. And so, you know, we do know they're going to run extremely well by watching the film. We know that they are a veteran football team. They have on both sides of the ball, on the offensive and defensive line. They have a veteran group. And then the quarterback is a senior. He's a 6'3" kid out of up in New York. So they'll have a lot of talent. We played some guys in that league over the years, and every year we play anybody in that league, they are extremely talented and run extremely well.
One of the Lions fans would be familiar with the St. Augs. We played them off and on probably what, 3 or 4 times in the last 12 years.
Yeah, we played them and over the years, and went to Raleigh and played them here. So and we played Kentucky State years ago. So you know, it's we know coming in that they're going to be very athletic, and we've got to do some things. We've got to shore up our kicking game, and then we've got to shore up some mistakes that we made. But we got in early Sunday morning and started looking at film and started breaking them down and working on game plan today.
As you talk about that, what's different in terms of how the week looks when it's a home game versus how it looks when it's an away game?
Well, you know, preparing to get on the road, takes some work. We don't have the guys that Division I has that does everything for them. We as coaches handle the travel. We handle the food. We handle all of that. We don't have the operation guys to handle all of that. But when we're at home, we don't have to get involved in planning meals on the road, and if we're going to stay, where we're going to stay, are there meeting rooms.
You can focus on coaching.
Yeah, we can actually get ready to play on Saturday, and and it's always nice to play at home in front of your home fans, and it's nice to play here where our local fans can also come. But we're excited about getting home and playing, and I think our players will be real excited about it. Monday is the day off for the players, so they've had the day off, and we won't see them again until tomorrow.
Busy week of preparation for the Mountain Lions as they get ready for the Bears of Shaw University. 1 o'clock kickoff here in Marist Stadium as the season opener at home for Mars Hill University. We hope to join you here and have you in the stands for all of that excitement this Saturday afternoon. Tim Clifton here, Stuart Jolley here. Thank you for being a part of this broadcast. We'll be updating you throughout the week on the website about the upcoming contest. We'll see you next week. Until then, so long for now.
Craig Rucker, wide receiver. You're watching Live Sports Network.